session.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold on, minutes. I'll think of it in a minute, there she is.
Who does the appointing to the CIP?
Huh?
You do the appointing to the CIP?
Right.
Check if the mics are all off, because that one,
Oh, he
I'll
appoints
check
people
to
to
see if we
CIP?
can buy one
Yeah,
that
yeah.
can be muted, but
Committee and
Okay.
planning board.
even so, someone would have to go
Are
and
you
use
on
it.
the,
I'm on planning board.
If you
Well,
try to-
now, when we shut off last night, was I supposed to shut the
Well, I was
microphone off
Thinking
before?
about that, cause I know
No,
that's.
well, you-
Because I didn't, I said that, oh, I didn't know if you guys shut it off, and
If they could do it or not, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
he's supposed to be
I
gone.
like that feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then he told me, well, maybe after Christmas, cause he was doing it, so. But he
Got a new
didn't make
feature.
it, I still see him out there mowing the lawn.
What's that?
So
When
you,
turn the system
Yeah.
on, the mics are all muted.
yeah,
Oh, great.
Got
Push
had
that-
some conversations that
The green
should
light
going on over
came
the air.
on.
Oh, so we have,
And when you call the meeting to order,
When they
turn
have
it
that
on, you don't have to
conversation
do
about
anything
whatever.
else.
Move it, it's like-
Or even
Yeah,
on,
anybody.
just that one press of the button when the meeting.
so one button.
One, you
turns
just
all
turn on your
No.
green, no, you have to turn your own on in front of you. And when the
Oh,
green
right.
light is on,
Or play hard to get, I don't have to wait.
you can do that too. You can do that too.
Yeah, it's, correct.
Okay, I'll see him Thursday.
So, yeah, he'll have to ask Craig, cause, remember he was gonna be on last year? And then we didn't
Had
need
too
him.
many,
Had
had
too
one
many.
too many.
The only thing I don't know is, will they have a fit with Bruce being on there?
Well, go.
Bruce, he can be a resident, not a planning board rep. Cause you have a planning board rep, you
Yeah,
have,
he's a
right,
resident, yeah.
you have a selectman rep, which is
You
Janice.
could be
He could be a easy
Resident,
for me to say.
yeah.
We always get rid of Bruce.
Have a coup and give it to Bruce.
We can use him as a bad example.
Yeah, that's it.
All good, ready to roll for me?
What happened to your leg there, buddy?
Well, my knee got screwed up a while ago, but I just had, ankle replacement surgery. My ankle was
What
shot.
the hell?
I don't know what I ever did to it. I tore a couple of tendons that are on the outside around the ankle bone. One of them was torn, the other one popped out, so they put it back. And then my ankle was junk anyway, so they said, well, we can feel it. I don't
Are we all ready?
Use your
All you have to do.
I gotta get it to
Yeah.
and then I said,
Like legging around.
Go
yeah,
to
so I might as
NBS
well cut it off
34
and
and
put a peg on it, I
just
was
load
down
the-
Disney and work on
the
parts
right
of
page.
the
You don't have to stop anything, just,
The doctor
As I
didn't seem
can
much
tell.
over it.
Yeah.
I think,
As well.
you know, I might be
They said,
full
well,
of
there's a
something, but
ankle replacement. She said it's loaded. with
So right now it's
an
on?
MRI scan.
Yeah.
it's
right now.
on, but the mics are off.
Yeah,
Generator,
okay.
but I could rock back and forth, you could hear the
So
crunch.
all people see is that slide.
This is, yeah, and then when you're ready, I just, so I don't have to touch anything.
All you have
They
to
do
do
one
is
piece,
change
one on
the
the top, one on the
slide.
bottom, they go in there and
At the
solder them off.
bottom.
That's
I'll
cool.
stay here just in case.
I said, we use a Milwaukee.
Just in case you don't trust me.
So many things have gone wrong.
Yeah, one leg, but I said, my knees were bad anyway. I had the meniscus taken out.
Step at a time
And
and we
this
fix
other one took
everything.
it back, cause I couldn't put any weight on it. I had the first surgery in January 17th for the tendon, then they had to wait about 3 weeks, and then they went back and did the joint, so I've been off my feet since January 17th, I did the other one
That
in February.
and.
Mike, Michael.
So, but I'll tell you, there's no pain, as there was, it's like a muscle, you feel the muscle stretching. Go to physical therapy a couple times a week. Now I gotta get the knee done.
Now you feel so good, you gotta screw up something else.
Yeah, well, now this knee's so screwed up, cause I had to put all my weight on that, cause I couldn't put any weight bearing on this. So I had problems with it anyway, so I saw the doctor up the Concord, and he and I have known each other for over 30 years, and he goes, okay, well, he says, you're on the 6th green, he says, you know, we'll see about getting to the 8th or the 10th, he says, come August, he says, we'll talk about it. I was like, okay.
You know, something.
I'll be made all spare parts here pretty soon. Set off here, set off the middle of Texas here.
They should give you a card though. You have a
Yeah, well,
card
the
to go
ankle,
to
they
the
said,
airport?
I don't think it'll bother it, but the knees will stop bothering it.
card for the knee
My
replacement.
buddy had his hip replaced, they gave him a card. So, if I'd have known this was all gonna happen, I'd have better get it myself, I guess.
If we had all
I wouldn't have gotten so many fist fights when I moved to the States.
You weren't such a bad state trooper.
Yeah, I know,
Better carry yourself.
Thank you.
yeah, that's it. Usually I say,
Did
"Well,
you make a change on it, anyway?
I didn't make any
I
change.
thought you were gonna make a change.
No, I said I didn't make any change to the,
You said, yeah.
as of yet. So we can do it tonight, and I can change
Well,
in the morning.
You
Cause
just decide,
he did it in work.
you just decide what you wanna change.
Well, it says 25 cents, that's a little lot.
So she just handed it down with this list, so that covers all,
Yeah, I put the planning board in.
okay.
oh, she already signed me up.
And there, so it says 25 cents a meeting. Or $10, so it's always been $10. But it's a $50 application fee.
So this is, so what do you wanna change to? You just can't strike that,
Well, you could,
which is greater, maybe charge for less.
well, you could do something along the lines of, you could honestly take this off, you know. You could say, application fee,
You already got that, you already got
no,
$50.
it's not in there, is it? I didn't
Yep.
sign it.
See, it wasn't there.
Did you find $50 in the application?
Remember seeing that? I'll check real quick.
Let me see. $50 in here. Maybe not here, but on the.
No, he would have typed it out. I remember when I skimmed it.
$50 plus $10 a list. At least we get on plus $10 for the list. You wanna say
For
the list?
butters.
Others? It's not per, it's not per. Oh, that's right too. Okay, so what's the registry? What's the registry? That box.
Hi.
Oh.
So you already signed me up.
Already did.
Yeah. What's Bill up
He was sitting on the couch when I left.
I was feeding
You
on
might?
black
Yes.
box.
Okay. Monique texted me, it doesn't look like a UPS user.
Yeah, no,
I
I
go, that's
I had
fine.
time to get home.
She's like, he's gonna have to come in his uniform, I go, that's fine.
on the back of my
Yeah.
head too. and it's like all swelled up.
He works for a living. Well, he was supposed to go out and work on the tractor, but he's got it torn apart now,
Why?
he's just
That's
taking
like-
parts.
It's not like cauliflower, you know, or whatever. they
Trying to
call
find
it.
another ride mower, cheap.
Well, it's
Until I get my other one, now I'm getting around so I can get it in and fix it.
Yeah.
I missed one the other day and
Tight.
pockets for
Zips over your
I
head.
have the
$500.
hat,
That thing's great.
I have the hat thing, but sometimes it's too hard to do anything.
My buddy can do it.
That's it.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of stock house, we should,
They're early this year.
Yeah.
he had,
Sure.
That's what
we
you
made a
want.
stone for Dad's, the rock in the field.
I think we're gonna have a box.
So they put it in the stone today, he carved it in,
Yeah.
well, not carved it in,
But I had to go out
that's
there.
bigger than plain in the grass, but he had to cut it in stone.
Yeah.
And then he glued it in there. Yeah.
Nice. Maybe I'll just call Stock House and see if they put me on the list to cut my hair.
I'll see if funny, my mom's like, oh, so when Peter comes, I think, and I said, okay, so when Peter comes, I already spent a fortune today, cause I did it for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So when Peter comes, I have to tell him Peter has a
How are
budget.
you?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
There's one in the packet, is this any different? There's one of these in the packet,
That's
is this
the old,
updated?
that's the old one.
Yeah, the
Oh,
updated one.
they don't need it, I think.
Huh?
They don't need it.
They own that. I
Yeah.
just-
The updated little.
So this one that came in our,
And I picked them up.
And you are,
Matt, if you wanna reference my yours, 29 Scottsdale.
Naomi,
I,
Naomi, you saw me sneak in?
say that again?
You saw me sneak in?
you had.
I don't know why I called you Matt, what, Greg White though.
It-
When he said, you know what it is, reservoir, there's a white on this.
It could be, you know, I do that to people too, it's like I get the wrong name stuck in my
It wasn't
head.
your hair
Called
color.
to me, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I kinda liked it, I mean, I thought it was, to be honest, I hated to change it because it gives me a degree of anonymity.
The Word document and you can fix it?
You've gotta put it through a PDF tool
Okay.
and run an OCR.
It's like putting things in a little,
Yeah.
sausages in the things run out.
Yeah, so we put the memory of
Okay.
that my mom's.
That's interesting.
We didn't change.
Build it, just buy one of
So
those
we
metal ones.
all
Remember
know that
documented
somebody
the
else
as-is.
had gotten rid of.
Yeah,
Yes.
Put it out in the
And
building.
you know, it fit just perfectly.
Here's Matt.
that's it.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
For his back half, we got one for him, but the thing was, for us, that
Yeah.
we could adjust it up, down, whichever way you wanted to go.
Yeah, so we put that together Tuesday, I think,
That's interesting.
and
The only thing is, you build a little bit of an uptick going in,
hers came down really nicely.
where it comes in from the.
See, we pulled it out,
doors in there.
that's what we all were down there. So they used them out of the house and then down the ramp, and Dad had always put this little piece up,
Yeah.
so you didn't plow into it, you go right along the side.
Cool.
So,
I know they had to take over, build up, where the silt and steel was.
Yep.
Raw, like that. So they put a decent,
Okay.
weight into that, so
I
if
mean,
you
beat the
hit the
black
metal,
lines.
you couldn't get the ramp.
Have you found this bill,
It's a pressure treatment.
House
It's
and Senate, to know,
anchored it, and it's there.
the bill in the House and Senate for that?
Apparently,
The, still in the House.
apparently, governor's gonna sign that. So, April 2nd, House Bill 1291.
So the house was still intact when you got there, you got to
It was,
make sure that
yeah,
everything was.
when I went there Friday, the window had blown open in the
The
basement,
Senate doesn't like it.
but the wind blows up there.
Okay, I didn't know.
Because the window was
What
closed,
they were
because
at.
I went in, it was cold, I did it before he did.
Well, I remember.
Well, I left the heat at 48,
And then I get
so,
updates.
And by the way, this is black,
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not.
so I go and I get everything.
Yeah, so when I get to the basement window was
Well, that's
open.
what I was wondering
So
about
that'll.
But what it does is, it's too tight, and he had drilled a hole to there.
this.
So I think that was part of the issue.
Where this,
My dog wanted to sit there.
where
They
it's
get
in
stuck
this,
in the, they get stuck in the,
doesn't matter where it is.
they get stuck in the.
Yeah, when we were up there, when they plowed, you know, they plowed this big thing, when we got there, you could see where it was
Something new.
plowed and he rutted it, but there was still some
Yeah, he
snow.
gets stuck.
Phone is muted.
When they turn it on, our
All you
microphones
do is just one
Because
side,
of that
reach
snow,
up.
when we drove up there,
just the first time we turn it
As
on.
soon as they call the
Then,
meeting.
yeah, we're gonna bring a turf tractor up and
You don't have to do anything else.
the turf
Okay.
tractor be lighted in.
You just gotta up them.
Thanks.
You ready to go?
We are hanging on you any minute.
There you go.
Do anything else? Oh, go ahead. And then, everybody, it should be all set.
So you put it on the tab.
all set?
Yep.
Uh,
No, tell me.
Got it.
You turn your mics on though.
Contact. Good evening, my name is Jack Dearborn, I'm the chairman of the zoning board of adjustment for the town of Ware. This is the May 7th, 2024 meeting, 7:30 PM. And the first thing we need to do before we do anything is elect officers for the 2024 year. Motion for officers?
I'd move to make Jack Dearborn chairman and Mike vice chair.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, we got it. Okay. First out of the way. Now we have a case. It's case number 03-2024. Matthew Martell, owner and applicant, Mount Dearborn Road, tax map 408-061, rural agricultural zone, special exception, Article 19, Section 19-1 and 2. And, let's see here. Let me just explain how we run the meeting. So, everything, this is a quasi-judicial court, meaning it's, that's the status the state gives us. So, be it a court, we don't bring any information in. We only hear cases that are filled out, and what we will do, we take all the way through to completion, we will vote with it, and then we move to the next one until we're all do the minutes and we leave, adjourn after that. So, typically, do is ask for, I will motion to accept. It's really at a second discussion to the reason we will make an amount of information. When we case and find out something's missing. Sure, if we get halfway through, even if we said we think we like it, missing or we need, we ask questions, doesn't have the information, then we continuation to get, and we will take a vote on that. Three, we move to the action. I would ask come forwards, state or property. Do here is it's for the that's some I'm understanding property. But actually, like a special exception, if acted within the that is allowed to before this it goes to the next, but it doesn't extinguish. So, applicant to come forward. Here are his name. Then I'll ask the board if they have any questions. Make sure everybody's up to speed. Usually, if there's a comment, I'll ask people to come. The applicant, so we can basically understand what we're all. Then once that, ask the applicant to please read the in a special exception. There's a page. The points of a special exception. Variance, there's 5 points of hardship. Equitable waiver, dimensional, and all are all single issues, if you support it or not support it. So, we have a special exception. What I'll do is ask the through. Once I'm done, I'll ask, he or she is done, I'll ask the board if they wish to discuss anything after being done. The approving of butters to speak. Important. Anybody who's across or beside or 100 feet down the road to the state specification isn't a butter. They have standing for certain things. They're immediately impacted. I will approving of butters who wish to speak, disapproving to speak, large, other board. Everybody gets to be heard, gets a chance to be heard. The person may, if they wish to get up and or ask or I forgot initially. One ask for butters, disapproving about this boards. Everybody had it. So once that's finished, I'll ask the board if they have any questions. At that point, I shut down public meeting. At this rate, on the equitable waiver, administrative appeal, doing an up and down vote. Yeah, we try to always ask for a motion in the positive. Yes means yes, no means no. Once we get the yes motion in the affirmative, second discussion, then we vote. It could be three possible, or it could be more than three possible, but generally speaking, yes with the conditions if we deem them necessary. Continued for cause to a date certain, should the board deem it appropriate for the meeting. And the last one is, excuse me, no, meaning it fails, and has to be with the reason. You just can't say we don't like it. So everything we do here is allowed to have a 30-day rehearing on any case we have. The 30 days is basically set by state law. You have to request within 30 days, and you have to state why you believe a rehearing is required. It can't necessarily be because you don't like the answer. It has to be something, it could be considered a due process was stepped upon, you didn't think that we ran the meeting correctly, or it has to be something. We decide what we consider appropriate for a rehearing or not. We can be very broad in scope or very narrow in scope. If we choose not to hear the rehearing, you have an opportunity to go to Superior Court. And our direct appeal post after the rehearing request has been turned down. So that's how it works. 3 yeses are required. If there are 3 people sitting here tonight versus 5, I always ask the applicant if they wish to continue, because it's a lot easier getting 3 out of 5 than it is 4 than it is 3. So you need 3 yes votes. On a variance, there's 5 points of hardship, prongs they call them, and each one needs to have 3 yeses. It doesn't have to be the same people. So, and there's no overall vote at the end. And if you get any one of those 5 that have less than 3, it fails. So that's how we run the meeting. So, before we start, I will ask the board present tonight to introduce themselves so I can see them for the case.
Mark Moretti, member.
Bobby Joe Clemondon, member.
Michael Meyer, member.
Malcolm Wright, member.
Thank you. At this point, motion to accept case 03-2024.
Move to accept.
Accept. Case.
Second.
Any discussion? I think there's an issue here. Generally speaking, people want to come in with build a ADU before the house. They usually have a complete layout, and we approve the layout, including the future house. Here, there is even more glaring issue where there is the want of this is to be a detached ADU. Is that, who's the applicant here tonight? Am I correct? It says detached? Well, in order for you to have this special exception heard. If that's truly what you want, you will have to get a variance to 19, Article 19, which says attached. So the town of Ware does not allow detached ADUs. So essentially, a special exception, you get it by right if you meet the conditions laid out. Looking at your application, without knowing where the house is, that's another problem, because it states where the doors have to be and all this kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, I don't think we can go forward with this evening. It isn't because we don't like you, it's because you asked for detached. In order to get that to even be processed as a special exception for an ADU, you have to get a variance. And then part of the variance process, you have to prove a hardship why you can't have this attached. See what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
That's the crux of it here. So, two options. I can take a vote, or you can withdraw your application and come back, A, if you think you can get a variance, or B, make it attached in the future.
Draw it attached.
Because if you, just so I'm clear, if you came in with a complete layout of the house and the ADU, showing what it is, we would go, we're gonna approve that ADU on that house design. And if we pass that ADU and you come in with a building request eventually in the future with that house, you're probably gonna get it. If you change it, that kinda tips everything out, because you gotta approve for that layout. See what I'm saying? Not many people do a garage with an ADU over it. First, some have, and they committed to doing the design. That's the only time we ever saw it.
Well, that's, I'm a structural engineer, I'm a designer, I'm designing his house.
This is not an engineering problem.
No, it's not, so I'm just telling you my background, so
Sure.
Could you come up to the podium?
So, it's my son, Matt, I'm his father. When we went to the building inspector to get a permit for this, he basically told us, why don't you apply for this special request? Didn't say zoning or anything else, he informed us to do this. And the reason is we can get the permit to build a garage in the apartment over it, or the living space, not necessarily an apartment, a living space over it. But when we go for the permit for the house, he said, we'd have to dismantle the kitchen
Well, that's true
and leave
too.
that as a separate unit.
But the problem is, we're going to approve an ADU that's detached. The town of Ware does not allow that in the zone, period. So that's the starting point.
Which is why he said to go for the special occurrence. And I know you building inspector, you're using the one from
Yeah,
Goffstown or
unfortunately,
something.
we've had a lot of churn on the land use, and unfortunate for the town and unfortunate for you folks as well. The last thing we want to do is go down the path and find out you haven't got what you thought.
Well, truthfully, it doesn't really matter, because he's gonna build this and live in there while he saves up money, because he wants to live on his own, he wants to save up money and not pay somebody else rent, which makes sense to me to build
And it's
this.
not an EDU.
No, then when he builds the house, when he saves up money to build the house, that's what the building inspector said, is if you go for this first and you get it approved, then you don't have to dismantle the apartment
I'm just
when you
saying,
move into your house.
to do what you want tonight,
Yep.
you don't need this ADU. It's his house on top of a garage.
So,
Doesn't have to be.
Well, does that even have to have a special location here?
That's what I'm saying.
Then it goes right to the bill. So that's what we wanted to do in the first place.
But when you open your mouth possibly and say we
About
want
a
to
house.
detach ADU, the house later, TMI.
So, truthfully, I think the apartment up top is gonna be used as an office space or just a man town.
I'm just
But
telling you,
this is what the building inspector told us to do, so that's why we're here.
well, yeah.
And that's why we don't have plans for the house yet, because he's gotta save up, we gotta find out what he wants to live in. He's too young to know.
I understand.
At first, he said, I want a one-bedroom house. I'm like, no, you don't. So-
My question to the applicant, you wish to withdraw your application, would you like us to turn you down? Oh, we'll see if it's gonna be turned down. Yeah, well, thank you, that's appropriate. And there is some legislations in the House of Representatives, whether it ever matures to a law, I don't know, that does change some of this stuff, so.
That's
I'm
what
not-
we were told by the building
Yeah,
inspector. He
but I
says,
don't know. I mean,
down the year, it's gonna change, so this will just get you ahead of the game.
If all you wanna
That's all we're
do,
trying to do.
I'm not giving you permission, I'm just saying, to my knowledge, which may not be that much knowledge, to build a garage with a living unit over the top,
That's, yeah.
you can go do that all day
Yep.
with a building. I did it.
Deal with that, deal with
Well,
the other
that's
part
what, that's
later.
what we we're gonna do, and then when we went to talk to the building inspector about it, he says, oh, do this instead, because it might be easier in the long run.
Okay,
So, we don't have a problem with it, we appreciate the time, but, we'll apply for the permit to build the garage. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Do we need
No
to,
guarantees, but you might be okay.
Thank you.
do we have to
okay,
accept the withdrawal?
This case has been,
Do we move to,
no, it's been
Pull it
withdrawn.
without-
We just stated it's being withdrawn.
very good.
Okay, we have some, Naomi, you get very upset if we don't do this. Naomi says we need to put the minutes on the website.
Minutes on there.
I mean, excuse me, the,
Your bylaws.
bylaws. And so I said, okay. He says, we can't find an electronic copy. And I says, okay, I says, I found the O2 version, but apparently wherever the electronic was, it was lost. So, in the interest of, full disclosure, Mike worked his magic taking this, like putting sausages in the sausage machine and pigs are running out the other side. He took this document here, scanned it, made it into from a PDF to a Word document, and he did other surgery to fix up the formatting issues. And we basically just documented the as-is that we've done. So this reflects the as-is today. There has been some changes made across the years, minor, but we incorporated those, and probably the most telling one that's not in here, and I didn't know enough to do it, it's on 5.5. This is the old language regarding,
The last sentence.
yeah, the last sentence, we crossed out a sum not to exceed 25 cents per name or $10, whichever is greater, may be charged for such a list, and this is for a butters list. So Naomi threw this pro out here. Application fee $50 plus $10 per abutter. So that changes the old rate that was in this document from whatever.
Subject to change.
So, and, just the price of mailing went up.
Yeah,
So-
subject to change.
So that's the only thing other than what's physically in this document. So, we sent it out, I think I sent it out Sunday morning. And Naomi did put the old ones in there, so it's basically, the formatting's different because Mike went from this, I don't know if that was even a word,
I think it was typed.
I think it was probably typed. So, anyways, it's, the paragraphs got renumbered only because it's a lot more expedient doing it that way in Word. Anybody motion to accept the, Ware Zoning Board of Adjustment organization and rules?
Move to accept the Ware Zoning Board of Adjustment Organization and Rules
Second.
to be put on the website,
As amended?
As amended.
as amended.
As amended, yeah.
Second,
Second, yeah.
discussion. Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Bobby, Jack, Mike?
Aye.
No,
Aye.
5-0.
I'm done.
Now we have, do we have a new member here this evening?
We have Mike.
Would you like to come up to the
Another Mike.
podium?
Oh, no,
please?
not another mic.
Take a few minutes and let us know kind of who you are and why you're interested.
Well, my name's Mike Bauer. I live at 47 Perkins Pond. I'm a UPS driver for 10 years, delivered in Ware for about 8. Saw that you guys had an opportunity for us to, become a volunteer, and it's just something that interests me. I mean, I don't know much about it yet, so I'm eager to learn. Just, lend a helping hand and be a part of, whatever you guys got going on.
Well, like I mentioned, there's really no magic here. It's all documented in the RSA's.
Yeah.
And we have a procedure, and probably the most important thing we can do in rendering, holding a meeting or rendering a decision is make sure that people's due process is maintained. That's the quickest way you can get this tossed out in court,
Yeah.
And if we find we have, through a rehearing request, a due process issue, where we have in the past, we decided to rehear the whole case just to make it clean, and fix the problem.
Yeah.
The real question is, as I understand it, although we're a quasi-judicial court, this is a land court, meaning this is the lowest court in the land for land use.
Yeah.
And from here, it goes up to a rehearing, but then it goes up to Superior Court if you don't feel you had justice here. And there is also something between Superior Court and us. And that's some kind of a state review board that exists. I haven't seen that happen yet. I don't know if it's for zoning or if it's just for planning. So basically, we're not allowed to bring any information in, just like the court. They hand us the package. If we don't like the package, we say we don't like the package. If we like the package enough to start, we go through the meeting, and we, hear the case, ask questions. If we feel it's important before we hear the case, or if we get in the middle of the case and we think it's really important, we'll do a site walk, which has to be a certain time and noticed, appropriately noticed. And then we go off and look, and we don't hold a meeting out there. We only look at what we want to see specifically for the site walk. Then the next meeting, we take it up and make a decision. We have to make decisions here. There's a
Yeah.
lot of boards in the town that don't have to make decisions. This is one that requires a decision, and we have minutes, and it's expected that people voice their opinions in the meeting, or you don't have to be unique, you could say, I agree,
Yeah.
if somebody made a point, or if you don't understand it, ask a question.
I think, to add to that, I think it's a lot of interpretation of the law.
Well, our interpretation is our zoning,
Right.
okay? Let me just
Making-
explain that. Variance is when you wanna, okay, the zoning is designed to be very restrictive by its very nature. These are the things you can do, and by exclusion, the other things you can't do, unless it says you can't do it.
Yeah.
A variance is what they call, the term they use, it's a safety valve. And there are 5 specific criteria that are laid out by the RSA. And these change over time because Superior Court cases, Supreme Court cases of the United States, and Supreme Court cases in New Hampshire basically make it a change. The whole variance process has evolved 4 or 5 times since I've been on this board. And as soon as somebody does something just a little different and they don't think it's constitutional, they'll tell the legislature to go fix it.
Yeah.
So a variance is to change, carve out a very specific exception for your property. Not you as a person, nothing personal, it's just your property.
Yeah,
It goes with the property as long as you acted on the variance or the special exception. There is this special exception tonight, which are only called up specifically, and typically what they are for is, maybe it's just too hard to write the specification in the zoning. So they ask us to consider these things are being met. And if you meet them, you get it by right, you know, so it's just making sure you check all the boxes off. And if we agree that you check them off properly, per the requirement, then we have a thing called administrative appeal. Anybody that acts on the zoning in the town of Ware, it could even be, in some cases, the select board, it can be the planning board, it can be the building inspector, that's called administrative appeal, which means you don't agree with somebody's working on the town's behalf interpretation of the zoning. You read the zoning, you say it means X, and they're telling you it means Y. Rather than clutter up Superior Court, you come here first, and we basically look at your concern, or applicant's concern, then we take and ask the building inspector or the planning board or whoever's making these decisions. Typically, we will kick it out. We'll tell the select board or the planning board or whoever, building inspector, to put in writing. Basically, when you say, I want to go do some building, or if he comes out to do inspection, he says, you got the wrong size something or other here. Or you're too close to the boundary line. He's got to give you a rejection. Then we look at the rejection, the quality of the rejection, against what we understand to be the rules, and we decide whether we're for or against. Go either way. It's nothing personal.
yeah,
So we've had some of those along the way. And then we have another kind of a creature, it's called a equitable adjustment to a dimensional requirement. It's a long way of saying that. Let's suggest something was a mistake. It went over 10 years and you discover it, and the town didn't tell you, hey, you gotta fix this. You can come in and say, gee, the other day I happened to pull out a tape and I found out I'm 3 feet too close to the boundary line for my building or something, and you like it cleaned up. But there's a case where less than 10 years and nobody told you about it. If the town didn't tell you about it, and it's before 10 years, you come into the town saying, I'm disclosing that I discovered this before the 10 years. And I ask for relief because it's dimensional. It's a distance or something
yeah,
versus a use. So these are basically 4 types. You saw a variance tonight, saw a special exception. And like I said, variances are a safety valve. And they feel that the local boards, citizens, know better than a court. Typically, court beyond us would look at people's due process and their taking rights and stuff like that. So, any other questions of us?
not at the moment, but I appreciate you kind of breaking it down a little bit, so,
But if you want to read up on it more.
yeah, absolutely,
We just approved these tonight, so they only, actually, it'll probably go up on the web.
Yep.
And, you might have an RSA book you can give him. And, you go online.
yeah,
Land use is like 674 area, and they're all called out. These are how we regulate our meetings, the minutes. So,
I appreciate it.
well, thank you for
Yeah.
considering doing this.
Yeah, no, just like I said, I want to get involved more and just, learn learn the whole process and how it plays out, you know what I mean? So I appreciate it.
I think for most of us, it's a different stimulation than day to day.
Well, you guys, I'm sure have been doing this for a while, so I'm always eager to learn something new, so appreciate it.
Nice way to give back.
Oh, yeah. So. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thanks. Good evening.
Yep.
Okay, we got minutes? Okay, let's see, this is for minutes for March 5th, 2024. Church.
Good to me.
Yep. Looks good. You spelled my name right.
Move to accept March 5th, 2024 ZBA minutes.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
discussion? No other issues? All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Jack, aye.
Aye.
Melvin?
Aye.
5-0.
Move to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second,
Second.
discussion?
Third.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.